I would imagine by now that you're starting to pick the theme up. The tri-agency group, it's made up of the New Zealand Police, the District Licensing Agency and the Medical Officer of Health. We are the people that report on licence applications and monitor the performance of licensed premises. From one perspective, you could say we approve or reject the issue of new licences, and we police those responsible for ensuring licensed premises operation. Our role is dictated by the Sale of Liquor Act. It has a purpose, and that purpose is contributing to a reduction of liquor abuse. But only so far as that can be done in respect to licensed premises. And for that reason, we're often told we're picking on licensed premises because they're an easy target. The problem's elsewhere. The problem's in the community. It's in people's homes. Well, that may be true, but the fact is, licensed premises are our only concern under this current legislation. There's a certain amount of confusion regarding what the Sale of Liquor Act is about. It's not a liquor control act, and I stress that. It simply regulates how liquor is sold. Our goals are to reduce intoxication and the acceptance of intoxication on licensed premises. Because we have limited resources, we obviously focus on problem premises and high-risk venues. We attempt to set the same standard across the board, from the smallest of bowling clubs to the largest of venues, for example, AMI Stadium. Intoxication cannot be acceptable on any licensed premises, and for this reason we're actively involved in the training of duty managers. In fact, it's illegal to have intoxicated people on licensed premises. Our reasoning for doing this is that we consider that licensed premises under the control of managers as being one place where New Zealanders will learn that becoming intoxicated is not acceptable. If it's not acceptable at the pub with your mates, then it's not acceptable at home or at any other location where liquor is being consumed. As a regulatory group, we wanted to work with the hospitality industry. We didn't want to continue with an us against them philosophy. Our problem premises and peak problem times were in the main taverns, bars and nightclubs that traded into the small hours. In 2006, the CBD Alcohol Accord was initiated. The Accord represents a willingness of the agencies and hospitality industry to work together to reduce problems created by liquor, particularly for those who rely on the nighttime economy in the central city. Now, for those that don't get out very often, it's hard to imagine that at 3 o'clock in the morning it can be busier in Cashel Mall than at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The Accord voluntarily introduced a 3 a.m. one-way door policy and continues to look for further initiatives to reduce problems and seek sustainable solutions. For example, a transport accord has also been formed to tackle transport and parking issues which occur at night. More recently, Accord members have also committed to the Security Providers Accreditation, which sets a minimum standard for door and security staff of licensed premises. It's my personal view that licensed premises today are operating in a far more professional manner than they did 10 years ago. The number of problems we find within licensed premises is diminishing. And this is despite the fact that the number of premises continue to rise. 2009, 1,112 licensed premises. In 1990, 342. It's almost a 3 times increase. There are still problems in the inner city, but they seem to be increasing outside licensed premises and in public areas. A segment of the community, particularly amongst younger drinkers, they go out with the intention of getting pissed. That's a technical term we use in the trade. It means intoxicated. They haven't quite worked out that if they succeed in their mission, then they won't be allowed to remain on licensed premises. The second group are those that drink at home prior to going out, and you might have mentioned Glenn mentioned previously about preloading. They arrive intoxicated and, not surprisingly, get refused entry. Or they start to show signs of intoxication shortly after being admitted to premises and then get asked to leave. Well, do they go home or do they hang around and create problems? I've been told by door staff of premises that on some nights at peak times that they can turn away over half of those seeking entry because of intoxication. On the 29th of August, a SNAP survey was conducted in Sol Square which showed that 70% of those entering the premises had consumed liquor on the premises. I think 146 people had been consuming liquor before coming to town, 59 hadn't. So that's almost 3/4 of the people coming to town. Preloading is a direct response to the low prices and range of liquor now available from off-licensed premises. Liquor is considered as just another retail product. It's like a tin of baked beans. Drinking liquor at home is on the increase. The Hospitality Association of New Zealand has stated liquor sales has moved from 30% on licensed premises to 70% off-licensed premises. It's a 10% growth in the off-licensed premise consumption. Figures from Statistics New Zealand show the sale of RTDs. Now, RTDs, for those that don't know, are ready-to-drink bottles of pre-mixed spirits, very popular with young people. But the rate that they're increasing is at 16% per annum. That's huge. Consider the sheer amount of liquor advertising that we receive in our mailboxes. We see in the newspapers, few promote quality, most push low prices. The point being, liquor is now available from a wider source. It's heavily promoted, there is a wide range of products available, and it's cheap. And on top of that, it is targeted at youth. I can't remember the last time I was considering buying a bottle of wine with a skateboard as an incentive. It's not the kind of thing I'd be looking for, quite frankly. Bars with their overheads cannot compete with off-licensed prices. The average price of an RTD, and if we look there, what have we got? We've got cider there, Woodstock 18-pack, $26.99. But the average price of an RTD is about $1.40 to $1.50 per bottle. Or for the same price of one RTD in an unlicensed premise, you can buy a bottle of light spirits at $6.99. Beer, of course, any supermarket, under $1 a bottle or a can. The party bus industry has specifically developed to cater to this market. They allow people to consume their own cheap liquor and also provide the atmosphere and vibrancy of the pub bar scene. Now, it sounds simple, party buses, but the problem is, on a Friday or a Saturday night, you can have up to 30 buses out. Each bus can hold 40 to 50 people, which basically means you're dropping 1,000 intoxicated people back into the central city at the weekends. Liquor bans have been developed throughout the country as well as here in Christchurch as a direct result of the consumption of cheap liquor on our streets. Liquor which has been purchased from off-licensed premises. As a good proportion of RTDs come in glass bottles, we also see those bottles and the shattered remains littered around the central business district after most weekends. I previously mentioned that most unlicensed premises are being operated better, but there are exceptions. Because of the sheer number of premises and the economic climate, competition is fierce. The exceptions we find generally can be found with the premises who try to tackle head-on the price issue, offering cheap drinks and who remain open as long as possible. Today, it would be fair to say that these premises are now our targets. If it's our job to police those operating licensed premises, bar staff, managers, licensees, then we need the tools to do that job effectively. As things stand, we are hamstrung. There is little to stand in the way of yet more licensed premises becoming established, and the reality is it's extremely difficult to have a license suspended or cancelled. I'll just give you one example. We did have one premise here in Christchurch. Well, we've had more than one, but I can recall one specific one which took us over 4 years to have the license cancelled. Now, quite frankly, I think that's ridiculous. This needs to change. Licenses need to be harder to get and easier to remove. Thank you for your time.